Good evening. Is the government's three-tier system more likely to bring clarity or set one part of England against another? As Wales prepares to go into a short, sharp national lockdown on Friday, which will last 18 days, there's hard bargaining taking place in Greater Manchester, where the Mayor, Andy Burnham, is still digging in, refusing to implement Tier 3 restrictions unless the government agrees a hardship fund for the lowest paid. In the last hour, the Community Secretary, Robert Jenrick, has imposed a noon deadline for Greater Manchester to reach an agreement. Earlier, he had said further delays to the decision will put people's lives at risk. So is the government getting ready to impose Tier 3 in Greater Manchester, whether Andy Burnham likes it or not? Our political editor, Nick Watt, is in Manchester. Nick, what about the latest move from Robert Jenrick? To discuss all this, we're joined by Sir Richard Leese. He's the Labour leader of Manchester City Council and attended today's meeting. Good evening, Sir Richard. First of all, can I get a response straight away to that ultimatum by Robert Jenrick, the Communities Minister, that there isn't a deal done by noon, that's it? You've got hours tomorrow morning to try and reach a deal. If you don't, you know that what is so important for people throughout the United Kingdom is a clarity of messaging. So if you do not reach a deal by noon tomorrow, if you do not get this hardship fund, will you fall in and accept that you didn't win the argument, you haven't made a case strongly enough, or the case the government wants to hear, or the case the government believes, will you then say, right, it's very important for the health of Greater Manchester, we will agree to Tier 3 proposals? And back it, Manchester, that is most important. And indeed, if 2 weeks' time you find the figures have increased, it might be the case that actually this deliberation and debate has actually increased the rate of infection. Well, no Halloween night, no bonfire night, no non-essential travel in and out of Wales. Add to that the closure of pubs, restaurants, hotels and non-essential shops across the country, and the return of only years 7 and 8 in secondary schools after half-term. And these are some of the new fire break rules in Wales, which come into force at 6 o'clock on Friday. Figures now stand at 128.2 coronavirus cases per 100,000 over 7 days on average. This compares to Liverpool, which has a rate of 567 per 100,000. But the Technical Advisory Cell, which gives advice to the Welsh Government, reported without a massive reduction in transmission, the impact on hospitals and intensive care units would be too high for the NHS to sustain. So I'm joined now by the Health Minister. Lewis Goodall reporting. Well, following the filming of that interview, Unite has clarified the comments Mr McCluskey made about Lord Mandelson. In a statement, Unite said Mr Mandelson's religion was not relevant to the comments made by Mr McCluskey. Indeed, to the best of our knowledge, Mr Mandelson is not Jewish. The ordinary meaning of the statement made by Mr McCluskey is one of his belief that in recent years, Mr Mandelson has had more interest in increasing his own wealth than in fighting for social justice for working-class people. The suggestion of any anti-Semitic meaning to the commentary would be ludicrous. Now, she's an artist and designer whose work defined the way we navigated post-war Britain, some of the boldest and most memorable iconic imagery we still operate with today, but few of us know her name. Margaret Calvert, the graphic designer, who's now in her 80s, co-designed the UK's road signage system with its clear lettering and pictograms when she was in her early 20s. The style has been appropriated in adverts and subverted by artists through the last half-century. Still hard at work, she's just completed a refresh of the signage she co-created for the railways in the 1960s, now for the newly revamped Network Rail. Well, coinciding with this, Margaret Calvert is being celebrated with an exhibition of her pioneering work at the Design Museum, where I met her this afternoon. Margaret Calvert, well, that's all from us for this evening. I'll be here tomorrow and Emma's here tomorrow, so until then, goodbye.